my burden is light. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. I have an I statement to make. Grieving is hard, especially at this time of year when everything around us is shouting, "Be happy, be joyful," and I just want to shout, "Stop." It was at this time of year when we knew that my father-in-law was coming to the end of his life. He had been living with dementia for many years and was declining. But then he fell, and his decline hastened. I am thankful that we knew that that would be our last Christmas with him. And I know that is not always the experience of people who lose loved ones. He died January 7th in the hospital in the middle of COVID. A very kind nurse let my mother and sister-in-law be with him in the hospital. My husband and I and our children said our goodbyes over the phone. The reality is we lost him years before when he no longer knew who we were. But we knew him, and his loss was devastating. It's still devastating, and I miss him deeply. My sister-in-law made us a beautiful lantern in memory of his passing, and it sits in a place of honor in our home. And this year I placed the Advent wreath beside it. It seemed like the perfect place, the symbol of unity as we wait for the coming of the light into the world. Because my father-in-law was a light in our lives, a light of love and kindness and humor and creativity. He had a funny Dutch sense of humor. His light shines on in us and on his grandchildren. And while that assurance brings a smile to my face, it also brings tears. At this time of year, I try not to hide the sadness that I feel, and I try to give myself permission to feel the loss and the mixture of emotions that come with it as my grief changes over time. I take comfort in knowing that I'm not alone in my sadness, that God is right here with me. I don't have to hold back what I share with God, because God can take it. God can hold whatever I need God to hold. And I know that God is also holding me. Well, at least some days I know that. And God gives me the space to cry. And here's the thing, crying is sacred. Tears are a gift. They can draw out our feelings of connection with others, to feel their suffering and pain and their joy and celebration. And they can also help us to connect to the loss and the pain and the suffering that we keep hidden from others and from ourselves. They are a sign of a tender heart, a heart that knows love. And they connect us with God, the God who loves us without end, who holds us in the midst of our pain and our grieving. Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Whatever we are carrying in our hearts tonight and during this sacred season, I hope you will take comfort in knowing that you are not alone. God is with you. We are with you. And God is holding your tears. Know that you are loved by an unending love. Amen.